boy, I think something happened. I think like some big event happened or something. I'm looking at the news and it seems like there's all kinds of talk about the Middle East and all kinds of peace treaties and deals. Boy, it's almost as if what people like me said about Trump, all the guys from the Middle East having their hand on a globe together on the cover of Time, and now Thomas Wichter. I mean, Thomas Wichter is totally vindicated now. What he said was happening looks like was indeed happening. That the entire time there were back channels that had something to do with the Gulf Cooperation Council and the people around Trump, and that they had been planning this out for a while, or had some type of relationship that they were able to get this moving in an exceedingly short amount of time. As if this was already sort of in the works in some way. And yeah, so now it's a matter of how Israel and Syria kind of work into all of this, into peace. But not only that, they work into peace, but then beyond that, how this then affects who does what with Iran. Oh, there we go. Don't forget. Feed Gaza, because Hamas is going to be systematically eliminated. Is the whole thing of Israel taking over Gaza and systematically separating Hamas members from the civilians and eliminating them. That's doable, and it's probably going to happen. The only other way I could see this coming out is the actual Hamas members will be taken by now one of the peaceful allies of the Middle East, separated from the citizens, and yeah, that's how that's probably going to work. Something along those lines. Because there's now not really a reason for Israel to really kick the shit out of anybody now. This was the whole point of the idea of peace like this, is that now all parties are in some way have thrown in, especially with the talk of money. That's something that I think I'm betting there's a lot of people that focus makes them uncomfortable. But that's the thing, is it's because it's openly more like power and organized crime. You will put up this much money. You will put up this much money. You will build me a casino, and I will take half. And and that's how it's going right now. And everybody's agreeing because it's better for them. They're all agreeing because it's better. It's better than what they were dealing with. And that's the whole, like, the results are the results. And the left is having this problem of this culturally, in a whole new and powerful way all the time. That is, and soon we're going to see it again with the failure of Iron Man. Because Riri Williams, Riri Williams is that's just a bad name. It's a bad character name. I know it sounds like a playful way that black girls will say it, but no, it sounds really stupid. Then her whole story that, she's just a genius in the ghetto, because she can't be a genius who has a normal life and, and in some way rises through the ranks of Stark Enterprises, say in pursuit of stolen technology. You could have had a quasi-Secret Wars 2, or not Secret Wars, Armor Wars, I believe they were called, the Armor Wars. And you could have that whole kind of setup where she's hunting down stolen technology, and then you could have this really great, real great writing, and then introducing people along the way as, she poses as herself, because she would have been in an outfit that would disguise who she is. That's the whole point. So she could then just be this scientist, and then of course people would be like, is this the scientist that, got us this technology anyway? That's always the thing. If that's the idea behind the undercover narcotics cop, that if anybody even figures out, hey, this guy seems shady, well, you're in narcotics. Everybody's shady, and she gets to deal with all these underworld characters, and then, at some point exposes that she herself actually is, Ironheart, which that's another one. It's dumb. It's just stupid. It's not a clever female superhero name. I would have to think of something like Adamanta or something. I mean, something that Galena, I'd have to go through a number of different ideas of and look up different words in probably Latin, because you could always add an A to them. But and then it's also being a black character that there could have been plays on different. This could have been from Jamaica, from Trinidad, from Suriname, from all these different places that you then had, Haitian extraction or something like that, which that would have made actually a lot of sense. This idea that this is a Haitian American who is working for Tony Stark, that makes a lot of sense then. Even the way she's kind of drawn, it would have made some more sense. But there's an example of something. They'll never come back. The Democrats aren't coming back from this now. All they could do is really kind of ruin things. There's nothing they could promise that's going to come out better. These ducks are up to something down there. They can't promise something better now. What can they promise? Oh, we'll bring more peace to the Middle East. We'll make more deals. They don't like the talk of money. They don't like the power play. They don't like this. And then there's basically Qatar tapped the table. Qatar showed everybody who they're throwing in with. Very likely this was something like this kind of thing, Qatar will ruin you in a way that it'll be absolutely terrible. Don't make us do it. You're going, and then, so what comes of it? And I mean, so Mazari, so beautiful Mazari. We are going to build a fleet of planes. You're going to buy them. I'm going to take half. God damn it. Thank you for the casino. It just, we will take your casinos in Cuba. It's just so, because so they're going to be paying a lot of money for a long time to upkeep one of our major industrial giants in the game. Yeah, that's kind of interesting all on its own, and especially because they like Boeing planes, but just the whole idea that they're going to fundamentally keep that company afloat for about the next handful of years is a big deal. And now the feds don't have to fuck with Boeing as much. They don't have to fuck with Boeing to get Boeing back on track. Now, Boeing has to get back on track because there was actually somebody who brought this up, and they said, oh, well, yeah, one of the things is that the Qataris are not going to allow pieces falling off of a plane. So Boeing is now going to be forced to do something about its workforce. Qatar pays for Boeing to survive. Trump wins. And Trump wins. Triumph. Did you know his name, Trump, actually is the English version of the word triumph, like triumph. Yes. Yes. So Democrats, you've lost totally and completely, and you can offer nothing. This is now the beyond, how do you sell that? What can you even offer? You are now at the stage that your party is now an aging black woman telling the internet that she's the table. Your party is that. See, now everybody's getting real honest about things. Everyone's talking real frankly all of a sudden about things. People saying words that you're not supposed to say, the verboten words. You have thus said the verboten thing. So, now it really is this issue of like, yeah, you really got a problem. If you somehow get any power, what's going to happen? Children, something bad's going to happen to the kids. Nobody going to get no education. Nobody going to get no education. They'll be in school. Don't worry. No, the kid will be in school. They ain't going to get no education. And there goes Squirrel. What's up, Squirrel? What's going on? He's all excited. He's got the zoomies. So, yeah, and now, even if you were to change your lineup, do you realize what Chuck Schumer looks like? Are you all, really, internet savvy Democrats? Do any of you ever go to Chuck and go, could you stop looking like this guy? And show them the merchant rubbing his hands together? Said, Chuck, you do know you kind of come across like this guy. Have you considered that maybe, pulling back, sort of leading more from the rear? But then the young members that try to step in and do something are just such reprehensible characters. And now you guys have nothing you can offer in response at all. What piece are you going to make? You can't. You never have been good at that. Really, ever. Really. I'm talking about my entire lifetime. It's not really your bailiwick, so to speak. Then because of the issue of being so fond of socialism, you then have this problem of, well, you don't really deal with people want to have more than enough money because they're worried something could happen, or they want to do something that's going to require a lot of money one day. For some reason, this is something that you guys cannot understand until it's like Hassan Piker. And then that character, Hasan Piker, and how this is starting to become now, it's starting to become like this major thing, how he was like, oh, I got stopped and customs was talking to me, that's what he says, and the fact that now what you got, the left are now weird foreign guys. So Hasan Piker was probably actually an awkward, foreign, very rich, fat boy. When you see him on his little horse picture, he looks like a chunker. When you see him when he's younger, he hadn't gotten rid of his baby fat by college, so he was probably kind of a chunko. And he's finally come into where he's starting to kind of fit into his body right. And, rather than finding a wife, having a normal life, no. He's dressing like a fucking idiot. Like, truly dressing. I mean, these outfits are hideous. And this is something that people on the left, it's just, there's a thing. There's skits from the old comedy days about people like this. The Turkish, literally the Turkish guys who are festooned in jewelry. People will notice it with, it's kind of changed to like Hindi guys or Pakistani guys with like way too much jewelry on, or actually, and then there's big narsties, his base is all fucked up, where it's like the guy's wearing a sweatsuit and he's wearing, like some kind of, like, just too much gear that doesn't make sense all at one time. And he goes, his base is all fucked up. And it was really funny. It was funny to hear, British people talk like that. Well, Hasan does that. Like, what is this shirt he's wearing? That's like this linen shirt with then this absolutely hideous flower sewn on it. It doesn't matter if the shirt looks good in one sense, but it has this absolutely hideous thing sewn into it. No, you don't buy the shirt. You just don't. If you got the money, you just buy something better. He's supposed to be on the left, yet the guy doesn't own a single fucking Fred Perry. I always love that, where they don't even kind of know their own sort of uniform, never see him just rocking just a Dickies, not a black one, like a blue Dickies shirt, like one of the other colors, green, anything that you could tell, like, yeah, that's like normal clothing for a working class guy trying to just look presentable. And I swear to God, no, you wear a pair of properly fitted Ben Davis. You wear a Dickie shirt that's on one of the off colors, like blue Ben Davis, sky blue Dickie shirt. Or one of their ones that you don't see as often, like the striped Dickie shirt that has a button-down collar. You wear something like that, or the sand-colored ones, or something like that. People have no idea you're wearing Dickies. They have no clue. No, people don't know. They now people who know nice shirts, nice pants, they'll know. That's also actually a really good way of picking out people that are definitely judging you because of the fact you're not wearing nicer shit. Are those Dockers? Yeah, he showed up in a pair of Dockers. Oh my God. No. Anyway. So, and oh yeah, and there we go. Because the working class scene has always been snobby like that. Working class people are actually kind of judgmental, snobby. They're not. We have feelings about our poetry, No, the working class are rough, a rough bunch. Even the right wing has brought this up. Are we sure we want the working class? Was an article I once saw, or some post. It was, and I was like, that's actually very valid to ask. Does the right wing of now want the Cockney rejects? Because the Cockney rejects would definitely be considered right of center in the culture now, but yeah, I had to think about that. How casual of a right wing do you really want? So anyway, I'm actually trying to run over in my mind. There's no issue that the Democrats now have that can fill their sails. With this, with the events over the last 72 hours, and I'm also including what the Democrats have done, what various Democrats have done and said. This is over for them. They are now this party that it just is clearly divisive. Clearly that something about how they actually even think of the world is this weird divisiveness in the foundations of their arguments, on what people's political interests are. Not different groups have political interests, but we must do something about their political interests, and then just becomes a sicking people on each other. And it's not, but they never accomplish shit. They never pull it off. No peace, no improvement in the economy, no better social interactions. Their cities don't work better. And so here's something I want to make absolutely sure to mention, because this was in my head yesterday, and I was like, no. Why was this sticking in your head? And I remember I was thinking about how any arguments about COVID and how the Democrats dealt with it. This is how you smash them to atoms. You guys lied about the homeless. And then somebody will be like, what does that have anything to do with COVID? You're so dumb. I'm so smart. And then it's like, why weren't the homeless dying? Why were the homeless on mega drugs all the time, running around in the streets, being on drugs, and there was nothing, you guys, they weren't piling up? Why weren't we just hauling off bodies of homeless people by the truckload? These people were living in filth and on drugs. And so after you get through, like, them, throwing every ridiculous argument out, which won't be arguments, they'll probably just be like, whatever, Trump totally messed it up, and so it comes down to, no, you guys actually completely failed to manage your part of society. So as soon as fucking problems struck, as soon as the water rose, as soon as the wind blew too hard, you lost everything. And you had people in the streets, and if you had this horrible pandemic, you had so many homeless people in the streets, you had a disease vector that would have eliminated everybody. But you didn't have a disease that could. So you literally had a room full of gas, but you didn't have matches. And now, when it comes to almost any possible illness coming down, any Look at this guy. He's trying to start trouble. Now that's what the issue becomes. Is when is there going to be some kind of match that makes all of the endless numbers of people who aren't housed on the West Coast because of how the locals game the housing industry and how they game housing prices through regulation and the dependency on taxation. They're dependent on property taxes now. And that West Coast enclaves of Democrats can't really sort of justify their almost existing in a way without saying, oh, well, look at all this tax revenue because of how valuable the houses are, because the houses are just valuable, they just are. Well, this is a model that's only going to last so long. Now that this is also, this victory for Donald Trump also brings in kind of this new era of, wait a second, we're going to need machinists. This is the big thing. America is going to need this thing called machinists. And this is not a Harvard on the Hill course. This is something you usually, there's classes, but also this is something that now a lot of companies, if I owned a major firm and I was given this opportunity by the government, if you start training people to be machinists, we will do this for you, because most likely that's how that's going to work too. The federal government is going to offer incentives for the companies to train people. Like, one, do you find somebody who's got fundamental skill? Then two, are you going to more fully train them so that they can onboard them, and that this will be a big deduction. This is definitely going to work like this. It's definitely going to work like this. Because it's a major bunch of inputs to get a machinist up and rolling, or a team of them. But that's the thing, is these companies will also want to train their own machinists and their own teams of machinists, because then they have people who that know their products, know their line, their assembly line, that kind of stuff, and it gives them they fundamentally have their life set before them again. Why? Because the companies themselves are going to need these now new machinists to get better and better and better and better. And soon and remember, this is also a thing of, there's been too much of a gap. This new generation of machinists are going to be much younger than the older generation of people running the company. And so that's then the generational technological gap. So there's going to be things that younger people are going to just be like, boss, you could do this. And boss doesn't know that. He hadn't thought of it that way. That's why that's why Sensei needs young men, young, strong, fighting men, because it keeps Sensei teaching well. So this is just an amazing time. This is an amazing time, and really, the Democrats have the best thing they could do is to just be cool for a while. To just be fucking cool. Because I have no idea what they think they're going to deliver back. Oh, how could you let the criminal go back to their country for all the crimes they committed there too. Oh my God, too. And the crimes they committed there too. So they could do an AOC. No, whatever. God, that was so bad. She's so fucking weird. She's such a fucking dork. Her and Hassan are just such rich kid dorks. Bet neither of them can dance a step. Anyway, later.